Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Hello, Evenly Smashed here for my first deck profile video on this channel. It is Kashtira. It's the deck that I took to the WCQ Regionals in Chelmsford. Came officially 19th but joint 10th in scores. I finished with 15 points. I went 5 and 2.
Great job.
My 2 losses was against a Vanquish Soul player, and I've never actually gone against Vanquish Soul yet. I know it's been around for a while, but I've never gone against it. I kind of knew the choke points, but to be fair, he played very well, and I wasn't as familiar as what maybe I should have been, so I wasn't as prepared, and he beat me fair and square. And then the second loss was against a Fire King player. It went to game 3, opened pretty well, but he opened Imperm, Droll, Evenly, Fenrir and a starter, and then a 6th card which he didn't tell me, so he pretty much opened the nuts with Imperm, Droll, Evenly, Fenrir and a starter. Like, sometimes you're going to lose in games, you know. But apart from that, I did pretty well. I'll put my other wins on the board just so you can kind of on the screen, just so you know generally what's going on. But without further ado, here we go. So we'll go over the basic bits really quickly. 3 Unicorn, very standard and normal. 3 Fenrir, 3 Rise Heart. I do something very similar to the HEATSOUL combo that Luke Tyler first started to do. And 3 Rise Heart just really helps consistency. I had no issues playing 3 Rise Heart throughout the day. Yeah, when I see it, good times. 1 Scareclaw Kashtira, 1 Ogre with the 1 Preparations. I don't think Preparations helped me personally that much in this tournament. I didn't see any Labyrinth, which it can often help against, and I never really saw it or needed it. That could be potentially a droppable card in the future, but in general, I would maybe still play Ogre just for a name, or maybe the tier cash. So the ratio to the monsters was fine, but I think Prep could be potentially dropped, but it never really was a problem having it either. For the spells, you got obviously the standard, the 4 field spells, 3 Theosis and 3 Birth, 3 Pots for the consistency. I don't play Desires because you'll see how I don't necessarily play the HEATSOUL combo. I go into something else, and I do play a 1 of in this card, which you do need, so I didn't really want to banish it. 3 Shifter, very standard. 3 Ash, 3 Imperms. These are all really good. I didn't want to change any of these at all. Now and again I sided out maybe like a 1 Imperm, sometimes maybe 2 Imperms, but I wanted to keep them in. 2 Droll, which I like. It does conflict with Shifter, but whenever I saw Droll in my hand I was really happy. It's so good at the minute. We've got 1 Mourner, 1 Bell. Barone maybe was my MVP card actually of the day. It was phenomenal, so having the extra level 3 tuners was really useful. These little ratios maybe could be changed if you wanted to, but I was actually very happy with it. I could be tempted to maybe drop Bell for a 3rd Droll. So there's something to consider, but apart from that, really good. So this, at the minute, the main deck is very similar to how, so Luke Tyler, in case you didn't know, he's won 2 regionals in a row with Kashtira, and he's done very well. He's used a HEATSOUL Starburst line, which helps you draw into more hand traps and things like that. The only differences between this deck and mine were 2 cards. He plays a Desires and an extra Mourner, and I play Silent Boots and the Phantom Knight's Rank Up card, because I go into, instead of going to HEATSOUL and hopefully drawing into a hand trap, I basically shut down their turn, going into Yugioh. So I'll explain how that works shortly. So the extra deck, Barone, as I say, performed so well. I very rarely went into Barone at locals, but since playing this builder, you see more of the hand traps, and at a regional level, it performed. It was phenomenal. SP Little Knight, really needed. Get you around nib, things like that. Zeus, never actually went into it, but it's handy to have. Could be dropped because I very rarely go into it, but Zeus is always Zeus. Typhoon, really good. Shangira, just playing the 1. Dark Arms, pretty useful. Also a backup option for the Silent Boots play, which I'll explain shortly, because it is a level 7 Dark. So Harmonizer, just for Fire Kings and things. Didn't go into it. When I did play the Fire King player, I was thinking about going into this, but I never sort of had the right hand or the right field at the time to go into it. Red Eyes Flare Metal for time. Big Eye won me a game against a Runic Bestial player, And then the last cards are the sort of the extra deck cards that goes into the combo. So you go Mecha Phantom Beast, 1 Link Spider, 1 Barricade Ball Blocker, 1 Cherubini, and then these 2 cards. So this is the Darkest Dragon Doom Rider. So it's basically a level 7 dark monster that can get rid of its materials on your turn straight away, and that's the idea behind it. Yugioh, he's the new Rysar, baby. He's phenomenal. So basically, if he gets summoned, everything on the field gets negated for the rest of the turn. It's instant. It's like if plasma goes on the field and instantly negated, it doesn't activate or anything like that. If they hit the field, everything is negated. Whatever they use in main phase 1, the moment they use something, you use a rank up spell, go into Yugioh over this card, and everything's negated for the rest of their turn on the field. They can use things in the graveyard, but even if they somehow destroy this through a graveyard effect, the effect still lingers. It's also got a quick effect which can destroy all back row. So even if you go against a Labyrinth player and negate all of their plays, they might set a couple cards and try and pass, and then in the end phase you just blow up all their back row. They might have a few graveyard effects, but you're going to be in a good enough position to come back and beat them. Your end board is normally this, SP, Birth, sometimes something else. So that's why I don't always like to blow up back row, because you need the Birth to sometimes always go into your Kashtira plays. But everything's negated, so they can't really do anything. They pass. You use Birth, bring back Ephemera, and then you go off. That's got 3500 attack as well, so it's very useful. I'll explain the play. Oh, so Cherubini's, you mill the Silent Boots. Silent Boot searches a rank up spell, and then you go into the rest of the plays to go into this, and then you, in their turn, the moment they use something in main phase 1, you chain, go into it, overlay into the Yugioh. The trouble is, you need to see this in the graveyard, and that's why you get the Barricade Blocker in. So the Draco Sec comes up 2 tokens, your Link Spider and token into Ball Blocker. Ball Blocker can then pitch this into graveyard, and then you can do it. So it's not really a brick, it's not really a garnet. And if you see the rank up spell in your hand, you can go into it without even overextending. You can do it in 3 summons. You can just do 2 level 7s, go into the Doom Rider, and then set this, and then you're good to go basically. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I can always get this in the graveyard, and virtually instead of going to Cherubini, you go into this, and then you can pitch it. This also can let you add a continuous or field spell from your graveyard to your hand at the end of the turn. So you can pop the field spell or Birth with Doom Rider's effects, and then it will add to your hand in the graveyard. So then you can pop their back row, and you'll still have the Birth in hand and things like that. So it's quite protected. So there's not really a brick in the deck, although you're playing 2 cards that sometimes seem that way. This, the rank up spell makes things even quicker, so it's even better if you open it. And the Silent Boots, as long as you open the combo, you can pitch it and it's not a problem. The only time it's ever an issue is if you see this card and you can't go into the combo. But that's not necessarily the end of the world. And I think for the very few times that might be the case, it's worth it, because it'll win you way more matches than it will lose you, just for the sake of 1 card. I'll quickly do the side deck. So the side deck for going first, I play 3 Heatwave. I've just done a video on this, and it'll come out at the same time as this video. I think it's the most broken going first card in the game for siding. 1 extra Droll in case I need it, 2 extra Bell in case I need it. So as far as side patterns it does go quite well. You can sort of pick and choose which hand traps you want, because we're playing quite a hand trap lineup. And then for our sort of Labyrinth, which is always a tricky matchup, 3 Blitzstorms, which are obviously German Lightning Storms, 3 Cosmic Cyclones, a Harpy's Feather Duster, just to worry, so we can handle Fire Kings and back row stuff, banish the Big Welcome, things like that, which are really useful. And lastly, I played 3 Book of Moon. In case I went against a Cash or Pearly, I wanted to make sure I was sort of covered in those 2 matchups. I never went into it, never needed it. I never went against Cash, I never went against Pearly. I think it's good to have in case you play against them, but I would maybe potentially, I didn't play the Lightning Storms at any point, and I didn't play the books, but I didn't play against Labyrinth or the matches that they're for, so maybe there's something to just be patient with. Heatwave won me a match, Cyclone helped me win a game against Fire Kings, and the Drolls and the Bell just consistently helped me through the tournament. Okay, and the combo, you can go into multiple different variations with this. I've just done Planet Ephemeria, but you can do Unicorn, Rise Heart. If you're Birth in hand, that also helps. but I'm just doing it this way because it's nice and easy. So, activate planet, you will search for the unicorn. Unicorn, special summon, activate, search for birth, activate birth, normal summon Fenrir, Fenrir search for a monster. You'll need this for sure, so make sure you activate it. We'll go into Draco Sack. Draco Sack effect goes into a cherubim. No, it goes into 2 tokens, 2 level 3 tokens. There's a little boy. Look how cute he is. Go into Cherubini. Cherubini pitches the Silent Boots. Silent Boots banishes itself for cost, so you can add up the rank up spell. Now at this point you would go into SP, because if you use Birth to bring back Fenrir now and they use Nib, you're in a bit of trouble really, because you've already used your Nib, your Birth to follow up. So you go into SP to protect yourself. Then once they hit the graveyard, use SP's effects to banish. I normally banish the Fenrir, get the unicorn engraved. Now when you use Birth, bring back the card that you've banished, and not, for example, unicorn, because you need something in the graveyard for Scareclaw Cash to come out. Obviously your hand is dependent on this as well, but bring back the Fenrir with Birth. Now if they nib you again, you've got SP and Fenrir, plus the attack boost and Birth, and whatever you have in your hand for protection. Special summon Rise Heart by banishing the unicorn. Go into level 7. Now the rank up spell has to use a Dark XYZ monster with no materials to go into Dark XYZ with 1 rank higher. So this is why you need to use this card. You can use Dark Arm Dragon of Annihilation as backup, because that's not once per turn its effects, but they need to really have cards on their field to pop. So if it's more in the grind game and it's late game and you kind of see this, you could go into it, pop a couple cards, then activate it hypothetically, or things like that. It did come up once in the regional, but 9 times out of 10 you'll go into this. So you get rid of your 2 materials. I'll say pop the field spell at this point. Bear in mind, if you did go into, instead of going into Cherubini and you had Silent Boots in hand, you use the 2 tokens, use Link Spider and token into this. You pitch the Silent Boots, and then this can let you add a continuous spell or field spell from your graveyard to your hand. So this is where the Birth and the field spell can always come back into it. The Kali Yuga player has been sort of used, I think, previously in the past. I saw like a video like 9 months ago, but I think this is an improved way of it, especially adding in the Barricade Blocker and SP and things. So it's got no materials, you've got the SP. If you don't have a field spell or anything, and let's say you have nothing in hand that can get on the field and you have to pop a face-up card, Birth is really your follow-up. If you already have a Birth in hand, obviously you can pop the Birth. The way out of this combo, this turn skip, it can be super poly. So having 2 darks on the field and a warrior and a dragon isn't always the best idea, so you could always pop the SP. The SP was there just to mainly protect you from Nib. But fortunately we had the field spell, so we went for that. You set your rank up magic and you pass turn. You go standby main. The moment they do their normal summon or they activate their field spell, whatever, you activate, go straight into Kali Yuga. Everything on the field is negated for the rest of the turn. Even if they destroy Kali Yuga somehow with a graveyard effect or anything like that, it still lingers. And the moment it hits the fields, it goes off as well. It doesn't activate, so they can't respond to it. It just bang on. And yeah, that's it. As I say, they can't really do anything from there. They can maybe like get up a bit of 2 monsters maybe and set a couple cards, but they can't really do anything. And then it's on your turn, you've got your draw as well as Birth, so you can bring back a unicorn or a Fenrir. But yeah, that's a combo. Worked really well for me for my regional, and I think a better pilot would do real damage with this. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think it's a good idea, and try it. Let me know how it goes. If you still think the HEATSOUL package is better, that's absolutely fine as well. Hand traps are pretty good, but it just you're not always going to draw the hand trap, you know. So yeah, let me know what you think. Appreciate it. Thanks guys.